So, in this story, the Songololos go to explore a place where they've never been before. You see, it had been raining quite a lot where they were, and they thought that when the rain had stopped and the sun came out, it was a good time to go and have a look around. And so they gathered all their friends together, and off they went to go and see what had happened after the rains. They went through the forest, they walked along the pathways. They did a number of different things because they climbed on little stumps to have a look, see what was on the stumps. Then they went to another place and they climbed up a little tree and they looked down from the tree and they found, there's stuff that wasn't there before, like puddles and pools and things to play in. And they found mud, lots of mud. Eventually they were having such fun in the mud that the black Songololos were in fact brown, all over, covered in mud. They wiped the mud out of their eyes and they kept going. Well, the longer they kept going, the more they discovered that there was a sound coming from other side the forest. A little while later, they decided that they were going to go see what that sound was all about. And off they went. They went looking to see where the sound came from. And suddenly there they were, right on the edge of a river. It was flowing fast. We can never get across. We shouldn't get across. And that's when they discovered that on the side of the river there were little places where they could go paddle in the water. They did. The first one went in, a brown Songololo, and came out of the water completely black again because all the mud had washed off. And one by one, the Songololos went into the little river puddle where the water was flowing very softly, and they washed all the mud off themselves and they got clean. And then they climbed up the bank, and as they climbed up the bank, they discovered that it was quite slippery. They couldn't really get up very easily. So the one, he decided he wasn't even going to climb. He just lay down and slid all the way down the bank, down back onto the river. Well, he didn't go in the water. He landed on the little pebbles and stones next to the river. And then they all started doing that. Eventually they found a way to get up, and when they got up to the top, they discovered that where they'd come out, it was long grass, and they couldn't easily walk in the grass. So they found the biggest one of them, and they said, "You go in front and make a path." And he did. He walked through the grass and he made a path for all of them to come through. As he walked through the path, the others followed. And then they heard noises in the trees. They looked up, and there at the top of the tree, they saw birds. Birds who were singing and making such a wonderful sound, because after the rain, the birds were all so happy to be out again. The Songololos made their way back to where they had come from. They decided they were going to play around closer to home again. And then they found other Songololos and they all joined in. But the problem was they became all muddy once more. And then they got home and the mud had been all over them. They didn't even manage to get clean because they couldn't go back to the river. And so they had to start dabbing each other with some of the leaves from the compost. That took even longer than the time they'd played in some of the games they'd had. Once they dabbed themselves off, they were more or less clean. They were very, very tired, you see, and so they decided they were now going to go rest. But they had a little bit to eat first, and then they sat telling stories about all the things they'd done at the river. It was a really, really fun day that they'd had. See you again soon. Bye.